Hey guys, welcome back to another DRMB podcast. We've got a special guest tonight, AOD Deity, also known as God. This is what deity means, right? Very godly. You've got a godly beard there, so
Well, trying to
kind of
keep it a
digging
little
that.
Zeusy. It's got to be a little Zeusy, right?
Yep. With us as usual, we've got Punisher, and we also have Bo's image again for you to stare at.
Bose.
His lovely AOA static image. So you don't get to see him again, right, Bo?
That's right. There
He's
has to be some mystery in this relationship.
Yeah, he's the international man of mystery. So tonight we are talking about the gigantic, and when I mean gigantic, I mean like huge Battlefield 1 patch that came out. I mean, if you actually sat and read through all the patch notes, you get a gold star because there was a ton. They have done a lot. But before we get into that, I want to turn things over to Mr. Deity here. Just give us a little info about yourself, your clan, everything. Go.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. It's a fun thing to get to do. So thanks again. So AOD Deity, I manage the Angels of Death clan for the Battlefield division. It's about 425 members, 426, maybe 27 by the time we're done. So we're always recruiting that piece out. We run 5 servers for Battlefield 4, or at least we did. I've ran those servers for about 2.5 years. Try to keep them up to the as top as game server ranked as we can keep them ranked. As of now, we're now starting to get into the Battlefield 1 servers. So, but that's what I'm doing. That's who I am. And I'm just for the sake of conversation, I'm a community guy. It's what I do for a living now. Definitely all about individual communities as well as the greater Battlefield community as a whole.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you very much. So guys out there, if you want to join a clan or need one to go to, you've obviously got the DRMB community, but look into look into AOD. They got some great guys with some awesome beardage. And what are you drinking right now?
This is a Sam Adams Winter Lager.
No, very nice. The winter stuff is out. Got a little bit of that
Yes.
spice going, right?
It's been chilly. So I decided to do it. Wanted a little Christmas in my mouth.
Yeah, see there you go. Cathras says now that is a beard. So guys, what we're gonna do tonight, we're gonna talk about the patch, but also we're gonna kind of throw it out to you, the viewers. We're gonna give you a chance to kind of address things that you want to see us talk about as well, because there are a ton of patch notes, and some of them are kind of innocuous that we really don't care about. I mean, do you really care that an artifact on Suez is not rendering properly and they've now fixed it? Obviously not. So we're going to start the conversation here with things that we think are big or important and things that aren't, kind of going to that. And we're going to be paying attention to chat and see what you all are tossing up there. So we'll start with you, Deity, since you're the guest. What do you think the biggest thing in this current patch is?
Servers, 100%, hands
We're diving,
down.
diving right into it. All right.
That's my main concern. I told you I'm a community guy. You can't have community with a bunch of official servers and people trying to get together. We're operating on it's a strange way to operate as a massive community, a micro community like we are within the Battlefield community, without having tags, without having a home, without having the tools that you need to actually cultivate that community, a place to actually show up every day and hang out with your buddies. To me, that is the most important thing that we received, and it's lacking significantly.
So you think it fell absolutely short?
I think that they got it out.
Yeah,
I think they needed to get it out, and they got it out.
yeah. So like Sasquatch said up there, yeah, this was the biggest bleep up, and I agree. Pun, what are your thoughts right now on the servers?
Oh, it's terrible. I'm not happy about it. Uh, it's like Deity says, it's the backbone of what clans like Walking Dead Army and Angels of Death have been based around for years now. I mean, we depend on these things to build our clans up and to host community events and to be able to play our games the way we want to play them. And they've basically just taken the carpet and just taken it right out from under our feet and let us, lay flat on our backs. And we just, we don't know what we're going to do. I mean, we're a small clan, and we love having servers to be able to host, and it just really sucks.
So we've got 3 clans here between Bo, you, and Deity.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, this is affecting everyone. Bo, what are your thoughts? Because I know they're going to be the same, but I just want to hear you just rage.
I mean, so I mean, I get the frustration with the servers. Part of me just kind of looks at it and says, let's see what they do going forward. I mean, I don't want to get into the whole let's spam Twitter and hashtag it to death, because it doesn't fit what we want.
Why not?
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, look, literally every game that Battlefield has ever rolled out, 6 months from the time of rollout, it never looks the same as it did when it launched.
Yeah.
And even the server program, I think, is open for discussion because this is DICE and EA's first time running rentable servers through their program. So part of me says they got it out. They want to see, I'm sure they want to see data, right? Like if they're full blown, to use a business program that's used Six Sigma, if they want to see the data back up what the community wants, then, the only thing I can say is vote with your wallet. If it doesn't fit what you want, I mean, don't rent the servers, and then, that's going to cause them to have to drop back and punt. But I mean, Sean, you know me, I don't get too bent out of shape about things like that. I'm more of a functionality of the game kind of guy.
Yeah, so you're kind of the voice of reason here. You're saying don't pick up the pitchforks and attack DICE yet. I kind of am following that same line of thought only because I don't run a community. I'm not a part of a large community that outside of DRMB that rents servers at the moment. So while I think down the road we've talked about getting a DRMB server together, with so many other games we're playing and everything else, we're not dependent on it. Let
me address Sasquatch's comments. And they did run them on console. I guess my point was they haven't run them on PC.
Right.
The expectation level on PC is much higher with the user base. So that's what I'm talking about with. I want to see how they react to that user base.
Yeah. And just so that I say, I'm not grabbing a pitchfork. All I did was rent some servers so I can get them out there because I needed a place to get for my guys to go to. So I get it. I'm kind of backing off of let's burn down the building. Nope. Okay, we got some time to wait. I agree with Bohika. We got to give him some time to roll it out. But it's also frustrating as hell to open up day one and to have some of the things that we have, the restrictions that we have, without having some simple functionality. That's the stuff that I'm
right. No, I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't be vocal and don't voice the things that are wrong. I've seen some comments on social media from people, and it's just like some people took this and ran off in the deep end of the swimming pool. And if they don't change it, then ultimately the community has to react to that. Yeah. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, then they need to know it's not. Feedback is never a bad thing. I would like to know their reasoning why they couldn't at least roll out some of the things that people have been talking about for months. I mean, there's some things that have been in discussion for months that, I'm not saying they have to answer to me. I'm just saying I would love to understand the thought process behind it.
Well, and I've said this in previous podcasts we've had. I really think they thought they were going to be able to take the Battlefront method and run with it. And I think they tried transporting that over. I think they had no intentions of doing even what they've done with the servers right now. I think they had no intentions at all, but they thought they forgot about Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 and all the other ones and how important these servers and these communities were. And the backlash leading up to the game's release was so loud and so severe. They had no other option but to do the very minimum they could to just quiet people and then just, hey guys, we screwed up. We got to work hard. We got to work fast. And we're not going to be able to get everything we want to get out right now, but maybe this is enough to kind of quiet the peasants for now, and down the road we'll add everything else. I think that's really the situation that happened.
You don't think it was in the script at all?
I think it was.
I think it was. People spend a lot of money renting servers. That was absolutely in the plan.
That's what I think they're doing. They're trying to get that. They want that niche back. They want to get that server, that RSP money.
Yeah. Right. And I think they planned on it, but I think you're also right, Sean, in that they intended on giving server admins very basic controls. And when they heard that backlash about vote, kick, ban, they were like, oh crap. And so that's why none of this stuff is in development. Now, I'm not saying this is true or not, but this is what I think. But this is why this stuff is now there. Well, we're working on it. We're working on it. They never. It's like you said. They never intended originally on working on it. But now that they saw the backlash, they're like, "Oh crap, we have to do something quick."
Well, and it's naive to think that you could treat the PC community the same as the console. Like console, it's a little more controlled environment, right? So maybe you don't need some of those options. Not saying they wouldn't be nice, but you may not need those options. PC is a whole different world of management within the community, and it didn't get a fair conversation, in my opinion, publicly before the game launched.
Not at all.
And
not at all.
It's disingenuous to think that you were going to take the PC community and shove them in that square peg of console. They do everything they can to fight that mentality now. They were never going to go for this.
Well, Sasquatch's comment, and I'm not going to be the guy to bash anybody. I usually stay pretty open, but he's Level Cap. Level Cap had been a big proponent of the no kick, no ban, those types of things. I know that I was on some chains with Pun, really trying to let them know that you're just one voice, and DICE needs to understand that those one voices, just because they're loud, they're still just one voice.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of, got 400 people that work with me. They don't have a voice unless it's through me. I'm one guy. They need to look at that as one whole piece and look at the bigger picture there.
Well, and someone else there mentioned, weapons as well. What one huge name, one loud voice says, hey, we've got too many weapons. It's just mind-boggling. There's so many weapons. And what does DICE do? They take out a lot of weapons, and now people
dumb them down.
Yeah, exactly. And now a lot of people are saying, I wish we had more weapons. I've been playing for X amount of hours, and I've ranked down everything except that level 10 Hewitt or whatever you have. And it's like you got to listen to the people on the ground. You can't listen to the big names because they want to play the game how they think the game should be played. They want it tailored to them. There's no community thought in that process with the vast majority of them. Now, I know some are out there that, they care about what their people say, and they act almost like, delegates for those individuals. But a lot of them are just like, hey, man, I'm a big name. I want the game this way because, hey, I'm awesome with submachine guns, and I think every gun should handle like them. Screw the LMGs, screw the sniper weapons. You can't do that. You got to listen to the community.
I'm not going to bash the game changers because some of them
no, absolutely
have good intentions.
That's why.
But here's one of the things I will say. Right, it makes as much sense as a football bat to have someone talk about running community servers when they don't run a community server.
Exactly.
Like I don't understand why that conversation took place with someone who doesn't run a community server.
You're precise.
So I mean, if that's the mentality of the conversation, it was never a very genuine conversation to begin with.
Now, to be fair, and I know this is tough sometimes to be fair to DICE and be fair to EA. It's all we're consumers, and we're if you're unhappy with a certain part of it, you got to kind of go with the flow there. But
vote with your wallet.
Yeah, vote with your wallet. I do think that they changed, like Pun said, they realized, and now you messed up. And so I think that they saw that, and I think that was kind of early on. I bet you that was somewhere towards the summer. It was probably about EA Play. I think that they probably got that. I know I had conversations at EA Play that revolved around communities. I was asking questions. I was at DICE LA. I was asking questions. Hey, how come we don't know about servers yet? And I got devs saying, I don't know. I don't know why they're not telling you. So I think that there was a plan there. But the plan was so minimalistic, and now they're, as Pun said, they're trying to push forward and trying to change that to really meet our needs. So I think they're listening. I guess the point that I'm trying to make is I think they're listening, but now they're trying to play catch up. There's a lot of things that we need, and they're going to give it, hopefully.
Well, don't get me wrong. This whole release was a gigantic undertaking. I mean, basically the entire gaming world was watching this release, more so than Battlefield 4, more so than Call of Duty. I mean, the hype leading up to this was magnificent. Well, I mean, it was
I would argue that they were watching it because of Battlefield 4.
Exactly.
There you go.
And so I really think that when it comes down to it, if the production team, if the devs had to sacrifice their efforts in one area, maybe it's not so bad that they kind of slacked off on the server side a little bit to ensure that this rollout went out perfectly. Which, in my opinion, this rollout was perfect. Aside from having a couple features we didn't have. I mean, there were no major aside from things outside of their controls, like the denial of service issues and everything. That's outside of their control. But I mean, the servers were flowing great. The game ran great. I mean, out the gate, this ran smooth. So I want to give them credit there.
Yeah, I mean,
Battlefield 4 release,
Did
Battlefield 1 release. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll leave just let's just say this. We're talking about elements of the game that we would change. By and large, it's a great game.
Exactly.
So I mean, I don't want to take away from that when we
not at
talk
all.
about the things we disagree
We gotta
with.
have something to complain about.
Right. I mean, we're gamers. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Hey, bitching gamer is a happy gamer.
No
Right.
game is perfect unless it's Half-Life 1. I mean, I think that's the last perfect game to come out.
No, I think it's a great point to make that the game is a solid release. You have to start the conversation with how good the game was day one we get to play.
Exactly.
You have to know that first, and then we can start saying, okay, now we need the rest of the package, and for me, that's the community tools.
Yeah, the honeymoon phase is over. We know the game's great. Now we're going with what we want. The druthers, the things out there that, hey, this is what we need to have moving forward at some point. So I think another big thing is I don't think we've mentioned this yet, the VIP function also in servers, because if you're running a server and you can't get into your own server, or the people in your own clan, that's a big issue as well. And I'm positive they're going to work this in there at some point. And I know we want things tomorrow. That's how we are as gamers. And not even tomorrow. We want things yesterday. So I'm sure they're working on these.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would just like a little. Go ahead, Pon.
I was going to say, a good note. Tigger responded to us on Twitter today as we were talking about the servers. And he said that, I think Battle Nonsense started the conversation, and I chimed in on it. But Tigger got in there and he said, "Look," he says, "we're not. We're definitely working on adding a lot more functionality. This is not the final product. A lot of all the features that you're wanting will be there. It's just a matter of time." And so it's good to know that. At least we get confirmation from him, which he's well known for doing that. He's probably one of him and AJUU are the two of the most vocal developers I've ever seen.
It's very good to see him come back.
Yeah, and he came in and he told us, "Don't worry about it. These are going to be there." But they definitely want our feedback and they appreciate our feedback. So I've been trying to be constructive with it, but there's. The point I brought up with Battle Nonsense is that we're just seeing a progressive trend to what I think will eventually become a matchmaking type scenario like Titanfall. I hope it doesn't end up that way, but every iteration of Battlefield, there's just one little step closer to that in what we're seeing. And hopefully we'll end up that way.
My worry with all of it, though, is that it sets precedent for the next Battlefield franchise games, the rest of the franchise. So if they're already going to bring these things in-house, if they're already going to pull in and do their own RSP and make us do that, we got to fix it with Battlefield 1. We really got to keep the conversation going strong so that they do implement those things, because I do not want a Battlefield Star Wars where we lose everything. We lose clan tags. We lose, all of those extra community tools. So we got to keep the conversation strong here, and I'm glad that they're listening.
Yeah, and I almost get the feeling with the Battlefield 1 launch, if you just kind of take a step back, right? You look at Battlefront, you look at Hardline, you look at Battlefield 4, right? So with Battlefield 4 being the dumpster diver that it was at launch, and I mean, anybody who's watching from DICE, I'm sorry, it was a dumpster fire.
It was.
But when you look at that launch, it's like they crammed everything in that launch from the get-go. Law Evolution was just, I think somewhere on a server whispering by itself, Hanan is still stuttering when the building falls.
Yeah, no, the game at launch, the game crashed when the building crashed.
They put so much in it at launch that I don't know that they knew how to recover.
Eagle Stromboli says, I don't know, that's insulting the dumpsters.
Yeah. So I kind of get the feeling that this is kind of almost like a modular release of Battlefield 1. Like, we're going to release the core game and core maps, and then we're going to release in the first patch the servers. I mean, spectator mode's still not out, and I know people like Purdue, Shadow 6, the Rec Filming guys, they are chomping at the bit to get, going with content due to spectator mode, but that, I guess they said that's not coming out until the next patch. So, I mean, it just feels like a modular release, which is a much more controlled release, I'm sure, quality-wise for them.
I agree, and I think, that's probably smart on their part, so they don't overload the system and everything all at once. And while I'm here, guys, I just want to say I'm like jealous. We've got Deity here with his nice little Hellfighter figure. He's got this nice bookcase behind him. Pun, I see yours up there. I see Yarny. And here I am in my room. I've got packing stuff all over the place, getting ready to pack all my junk up. I look like I'm living in a dumpster right now. Just very, very nice.
That's actually insulting to dumpsters now.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, no, go ahead, Bo. You're saying something.
No, I mean, I think, it's easy to, for us to say, well, we bought it, and I think people are starting to understand that some of these shooters, especially these big scale shooters, I mean, not necessarily in the same vein, but you look at the Armas of the world, or even DayZs or the Witchers as an RPG. These are like living, breathing entities almost that span months of release and development. So, I mean, I think
DayZ's still not quote unquote gold.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But I think that, it bears to have a conversation more than a rapid reaction to some of this stuff. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's what the community, I mean, much like playing the objective, the community tends to suck at having a conversation. They want to scream and hashtag and virtue signal. So,
well, in order to PTFO, you still need to look at the map. And what I think that if they did give us was a roadmap of what's going to happen, we wouldn't be sitting here saying, where the hell are my clan tags? How can you take them away from me?
It's transparency. Transparency.
Bless your Zeus beard soul, because on release, when we went through the beta, right? When we went through the beta, I mean, how many times did you hear me say this, Punish, on how is it that they got feedback through the beta and we never got a list of, hey, these are the things you guys identified in the beta, so that when they released the game, we could verify that, hey, these are the things that we addressed in the beta. Like, to me, that was a lack of communication.
It's not only a lack of communication, it's a lack of transparency. I mean, there's a fine line. I mean, you can't tell everyone everything that's going on. I get that. But like you said, a roadmap. You need to at least give the basics. You need to at least say, hey, guys, I mean, hell, lie to me. Just say, hey, we've got a time frame when we're going to get you everything you want in your servers. We're looking at 4 months. Okay, cool. That's fine. If you're lying to me, it's going to come out 6 to 8 months later. That's fine. You've at least, indulged me, and I've got something in the time being. Transparency is the important thing. And I feel like there's just been kind of a lack of it, except those that are in the innermost circle. And I don't even know if they're getting information. So
NBA.
Yeah,
why is that secret?
I mean, I definitely get that they don't want to commit to things that are a maybe, right? But I mean, they've talked about spectator mode now forever. So I mean, how hard is it to say spectator mode will be in the? I mean, they've known for a while that it's going to be in the second patch or whatever. I mean, I think that's more along the lines of what we're talking about. Stuff is going to happen. You're going to get a million questions on it. People are going to post in the forums. I mean, it seems to me like there would just be a roadmap, exactly like you said.
Mm-hmm. And they did that with BF4. I don't know why they're not giving it now.
Well, right. Yeah, I think you might have just answered it. I mean, look at Battlefield 4 and use that as later on in the life cycle of the game, though. They did,
I think that actually helped bridge the gap with the community, though, laying that roadmap out.
It was once they finally put that in there after an entire year of the game being out, and when they started doing stuff for the community, that I think, like you said, that bridge was gapped. So we've talked about, yeah, exactly. CTE was huge in that. So we've talked about.
Why is there not a CTE now? Why?
It's coming. It's coming.
Soon. So we've talked about servers for half an hour now. I know it's a huge topic.
We can do it for another hour.
I guarantee you we could probably go on about 2 more hours. What are some things in the patch that you're seeing now that you really like? I mean, I know for myself as a primary support player, the LMGs are huge for me. I haven't had a chance to play them yet. Maybe someone out there in the peanut gallery can tell us if they really improved the LMGs, but that's big for me.
Do I have more choices than the bar? That's what I want to know. Can I?
I think the LMGs and SMGs for sure feel a little better. The whatever they did to the shotguns really didn't help it. Because I'm still getting 34 damage at 2 feet from the target that's acquired.
So the shotguns are not improved, in your opinion?
No, it's just you're not as consistent. It's hit or miss.
Unless you're Shogun.
Well, even Shogun, he has the same pride. He's in chat. He and I talk. He and I game together. He's got the same gripes about the shotguns that I do. 1 minute you're getting a 34 damage, the next minute it's a one-hit kill. I mean, it's varied, and we're not talking at range. We're talking close up.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the patch is good. I mean, I haven't seen anything that it's broken. So
I'm disappointed with what they did to the airburst mortar. Don't get me started about that.
You knew it was coming, though.
The what? The ability,
everybody's complaining about that thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I love spamming the airburst mortar, and I'm honestly, it was probably smart that they took away the accuracy to it if you're rapid firing, because man, if you got in a tight alleyway with that thing and you found a good defensive position, you could just lay down round after round, split second, and just decimate the enemy. So I think that was a smart move. Now, a couple of the maps they changed. It was Suez, right?
Yeah, Suez. Yeah. They added 2 flags.
That was a much needed change.
So I've heard 2 things. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. All I got to do this week was set my servers up, and I've gotten to play maybe 2 games of the whole thing. But I've heard 2 things. I've heard that it is absolutely worse than before, and it's 100% better than before. So I think people are completely split. So I'd like to hear from people like what they actually think about that map. I thought that map was fine personally.
Honestly, I thought it was fine too in the beginning.
I was in that same boat. The only thing I thought they could have done a little better was maybe some of the objectives around the B flag there in the middle. But other than that.
In my opinion, with that map, the biggest issue you have is you have what is it, 6 now? 6 points?
5.
Or is it 5?
Yeah.
You've got 5 points, all linear. They're all stacked up, straight line one from another. So really, there's only 2 ways you can go, or 3 ways. You can go straight through the center. You can go around the left or the right. But the problem with that is to get to those points, the losing team at some point, if they're down enough, is going to get a train, which is absolutely going to take that side away from you. I would have liked to have maybe seen the points staggered a little bit if they're going to add more. Maybe add 1 to the left, 1 to the right side, so it's not just that straight line. Because that straight line, if you got a team that can't work together, which we all know is a lot of the teams out there, it'll, in my opinion, and again, not having played it yet, I can see a lot of misery in that map, just with the layout and the train and everything else.
I think that's my biggest issue with it.
I just always appreciate getting on a team with 27 snipers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can never have enough snipers.
I really think they should have taken a couple of the flags and moved them to the south further to get them a little more away from the behemoth, because they're all pretty much parallel with the train tracks.
But put a little outpost on that dune area right there or something, just a little radio outpost or something like that, and make people fight on that ledge. I don't know, something like that, but just not that straight line where you're going out the center. I mean, that map is along with what's the other map that reminds me of Metro? Are we calling Amiens? Is that the other one we're? No.
Amiens like Sane to me.
Yeah, Amiens like Sane. It's the forest.
Argonne Forest.
Indoor.
Forest. Yeah, the indoor part 2. That's the other map.
The pre-Nazi indoor, yes.
Pre-Nazi indoor.
No storm.
Yeah, Argonne. Yeah. So, what are people saying here? What did Evil Stromboli say? Someone agrees with him. Trying to look through these see what people are saying here. The best games I had, Sioux was without vehicles. Horses were okay. I can kind of see that.
I think it would be a
should-
fun inventory map. Inventory only.
Yeah.
I agree.
And Heath, I see you in chat, dude. I am on record as saying at this point, at the rate that Dice does with snipers, that shit needs to be a battle pickup at this point. Like, it doesn't need to be a class.
Sniper rifle, man.
Hey, I love them, man. I've been playing. Man, I love the Scout.
I love them because I'm actually finally good with them with this.
Yeah,
game.
same here.
Exactly.
I can actually kill people.
If I'm good at snipers, there's an issue because I am not a sniper, not at all.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
Well,
the go-to class should always be your medic class. That should be the class for beginners. And I think we've gotten away from that. And it seems like the sniper class, your recon class, is your beginner class, and that should not be it. Sniper rifle should be at least a little skilled, because I would be fine with one-hit kills every single time as long as you make the damn rifles harder to fire. Give a little recoil when you fire, a little more recoil, a little sway in the sights or something. But as it stands right now, it's Call of Duty. It's Call of Duty right there.
Man, it's always awesome when you die and are attempting to respawn, and you're asking yourself, where's your team? And then when you get to the mini map, they're all on a dune. There's like 12 of them humping each other on a dune for one sniper shot.
Oh, they're laying down a perfect base of fire. I mean, it's very effective what they're doing, but it's just frustrating as hell.
And along those lines, why did they remove the fact that you can push the friendlies off the cliffs? Why?
I know.
I thought it was a feature. What happened? I thought it was a feature.
I've done that before. I got,
That's the best thing.
Someone's in my way on a ledge, and I just push them off. It's like, get out of the way, sniper.
Yep.
Go do
It's like
something.
body surfing.
Yeah, Sasquatch, I get that. They're trying to appeal to Call of Duty and bring them over. I don't think it's the right way to do it, though.
I do agree with you, Sean, that the medics are definitely take a lot more skill than what they have in the past. I do agree with that. The guns are harder. I think the guns are good, though. I mean, I love them, but I don't think.
Well, no, I agree. If you are very good with accuracy, if you're a good player, you're going to do very good with the medic class. I mean, the medic class, the guns are great. They really are, but you have to be on point with your accuracy. Whereas, assault classes, normally you've got your M16s that you can lay down on, and eventually you'll kill someone if you're at least in the right area, which is why they were good for beginners. And maybe they should have given the SMGs to the medics, the SMGs and the shotguns. I don't know. It seems like assault probably should have had the more skilled weapon, because that's a more assault type weapon in World War One. So I kind of think they got the classes backwards. That's just me, though.
Given medic packs to LMGs.
Yeah, well, not the support, the actual assault. Yeah, so you give the SMGs to the medics, because they're going to be the ones in the fight anyways. They're going to need the weapons that fire fast. So SMGs to the medics, along with shotguns, give them the ability to use shotguns. Give the assault class, take their SMGs away. Give them the semi-automatic rifles and the few actual automatic rifles that do a lot of damage from varying distances. And there's your assault. They're the ones charging through the battlefield, firing at people far and away.
In Sasquatch, you're right. The DMRs are not hard to use. And yes, they are the automatic sniper spam. There is no recoil in that mess.
And that's why they're not healing. And that's why because they're too busy killing. Yep. So I mean, they're great weapons. I think maybe you're right. I mean, you go into a different class would probably be a better setup. I liked Battlefield 4 setup. I really did. The only problem that we had there was that you had too many options for your kits, and so you weren't going to do the job you were set up to do. I personally never carried a repair torch, and it made everybody my enemy, but because I had too many options for ordnance. If they change that up to where you force that on the actual class and then give them the weapon that makes most sense, they're going to take the time to stop to use that and do that thing. But if you give them a mini sniper rifle,
talking about gadgets, I think the repair tool is almost kind of useless given the lack of vehicles there. I mean, I don't, honestly, in the times I've played, I don't see it used that much, except for the pilot or whoever is actually riding the vehicle. But I've never seen anyone jump out of a tank and randomly repair.
when you can repair the vehicle from the vehicle,
Yeah,
it kind of
exactly.
negates that tool.
Exactly. So it's almost like, why have that in there?
Can I make a comment real quick about your point about having an extra point on Sinai?
Go for
That
it.
was way off, because I'm looking at the map right now, and you said to put one out on that dune.
Or
You know, that
somewhere.
that map
You mean
makes so much.
Suez?
I'm sorry, yeah, Suez. Not because the point is about Sinai. Putting a point out there by those dunes where all those snipers go makes more sense on this map now with the extra point than it ever would on Sinai.
Yeah.
It gets rid of the snipers. They can't use that dune area as their little base of supporting fire.
They can, but they gotta own the point.
Yeah, and they're going to have to fight for it. It gives a reason for people to be out there, not just sniping. So
as opposed to Sinai, where it's literally in another country, in terms of
way down
away.
Yeah, exactly.
So sorry, I was looking at the map, and I just want to make that point because it does seem like it lends itself to that.
And honestly, talking about weapons, I'll go back to what I said, in the first podcast we did after Battlefield 1 launch. To me, Jack Frakes did the video that everyone's seen by now that talks about the sweet spots for the sniper rifles.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is none of the other weapons have it.
Yeah.
So like if I, go back to my original statement about the shotguns, and Shogun's now in the chat, so I know he's getting ready to echo me. But if I'm 2 feet from you with a shotgun full of buckshot, there should be no discussion that you get folded in half. If the Martini Henry from within 50 feet or 50 yards or whatever is a one-shot kill, then 2 feet with a shotgun, it shouldn't be a debate.
Yeah.
Or if you're close quarters with an SMG, you should stand no chance. That's where I think they get balance wrong. They create one class and go, this one's very well balanced, but I never really feel like they go back and say, you know what, we need to make these adjustments for these other weapons as well.
Well, any weapon though, close quarters. I mean, an LMG, there should be no dispute that if you land 3 or 4 shots on someone with an LMG within 20 yards, they should drop. And with LMGs, that's just not happening. It's and they're saying, it's not an accuracy issue either, because I know I'm landing shots on people, and then they're pulling out their pistol and killing me 5 seconds later.
I'm gonna have to post some clips I've got where I flank people with the shotgun, and your first 2 shots do 30 and 20 damage. And by that time, everybody sees you, turns around. Like it's mind-boggling when that happens.
Well, I've noticed with the shotgun, you almost do better when you stop and plant for some reason than running on the gun. Which again, 2 feet away from someone, it shouldn't matter whether you stopped or running or what.
You can't fire the shotgun either if you're loading shells. And every other Battlefield game you had, you could load them and not ADS and fire. You can't do that in Battlefield 1.
I can't stand that. That's what gets me. There's no way to interrupt the reload, which, if you're reloading and someone comes up on you, it's like too bad, which no, that should not be the case.
So, I mean, my deal is if you want to keep the damage with the shotguns the same, then speed up the rack time on the weapon so you can get more rounds downrange. But right now, to me, I mean, they're powerful, don't get me wrong, and you can go on pretty good streaks with them, but they don't work the way they should, if that makes sense.
Well, the shotguns never really have, though. I mean, aside from the USAS frags, which worked a little too well.
Hey, the stakeout and hardline begs to differ.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I do love the stakeout. Yeah, you know what? Come to think of it, shotguns did function pretty much how they should have in hardline, which again, that gets us on a topic of how much did they collaborate with hardline when they got the gunplay discussion going? Because honestly, I don't think they did. I think they, went to the more battlefront feel for it. When hardline, and Bo, I know you're a huge proponent of this, they got it right with hardline.
Gunplay in hardline is better than any Battlefield game.
People
will disagree with me, but they can fight me. I don't care.
As much as hardline has been crapped on, they got the gunplay perfect in that game, as far as I'm concerned, especially with the shotguns. Yeah. But again, like I said, I think they were like, hey, let's go with the Battlefront model. Let's have these sniper rifles that are, laser pinpoint, one shot, one kill. Let's make things easier to hip fire and, it's going to take longer to kill people, but you can hit fire and eventually you'll kill them. And it doesn't feel right to me for some reason.
Feels console.
There you go. Exactly.
Hey, Red 7, I don't necessarily know. And if you look at the patch notes on the shotguns, it's not an issue of the damage being wrong. It's that there's no consistency within the shot. And if you actually look at the patch note, they said they patched it to be more consistent with what the expected damage per range was. And I still don't feel like that's right. It's not necessarily that they buffed it.
Oh.
And I think that's what was frustrating people with it is I can get the same distance from someone and get two distinctly different results. And that's what they were going to fix. I just wanted to address that in the chat, guys. Sorry about that.
No, you're right though. It's like, there's still inconsistency that should not exist with the shotguns. Like you said, you're 2 feet in front of someone. It's almost like you can place a player in the exact same position, in the exact same setting, fire in the exact same place at the same person, and it's going to be different every time you do it. There's going to be different damage done, which should not be the case with a shotgun.
And to be honest, it was happening with the LMGs and the SMGs. I just think they did a better job, I think, in the patch of addressing those two.
Well, first big patch,
Right.
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to get everything. They're not going to get everything.
Let me tell you what I'm sad that they didn't address in the patch. What is up with the shot put throws on TNT? Like I thought for sure that would have been patched.
I knew you were going to bring this up at some point. Yeah. Have they even brought that up as a point of discussion yet?
I don't know.
I haven't seen anything about it, and I'm going to be honest. I'm almost thinking it's their intention to keep you from being able to throw it.
Well, I mean, I get they don't want you to throw it a country mile, but holy crap, it's like handing your neighbor a casserole dish right now. Like, you just can't even throw the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense either, and that's probably why I don't use it that much.
I hardly ever use it. I stick with the gun, man. That thing reaches out and touches tanks. I love it.
Oh, the recoilless rifle or the rocket.
Anti-tank gun.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, one thing that I do like that they have done is the animation that they've given you to show ricochet off of armor now. I've actually seen that, and I've done it to test it out, and it's pretty cool what they've done. And you definitely, when you're not hitting or when you're hitting it at a shallow angle and causing a ricochet instead of penetration. So that is a pretty cool touch right there. That's a neat little touch. What else have they added that's big or at least important that we haven't touched upon yet? Are there any other big map changes aside from Suez? I'm kind of looking through them right now.
That was the big map change.
Yeah, that was all they did.
I'm looking at it again. There is no reason they can't put a point in between those two ridges to the right, the southeast. That would nestle between those trees right there. Move B out there or something like that. I don't know. They just.
I think they needed a flag point in the town or the village. If anything, I would say to move C down a little bit.
Yeah,
I was okay with the flags that they had, but I do like the idea of instead of putting them in a straight line. I mean, I thought the map played out well.
Exactly.
I thought it was really fun. It kind of reminded me of lockers a little bit, like an outside lockers, but it had that. But one of the things that I think that in this map it matters for in particular, especially now because it's a little bit bigger, took away some of the damage from Cav soldiers and getting headshots. So that is Cav soldiers they're already a little rough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to take any, why would you decrease the damage they take from a headshot? That one right there to me.
It makes no sense to me.
Here's a welcome change that I'm happy about. And, Pun, I played Operations with you. I'm actually a big fan of Operations. I like
fantastic.
I like that story mode. Absolutely love it. And I think we all know there's been some issues with it. It's not a perfect game mode, albeit a lot of fun. I think the changes they've made are really going to help Operations and make it, a go-to option for a lot more players. So I'm kind of happy to see that get some love and care at this point, especially the ticket bleed and giving the attackers just a little bit of a boost. But it's funny because the attackers, in my opinion, they get the behemoths at the end of every round. So it's like, yeah, we're helping them, but they get help too. But no, I like the fact that they're giving that game mode a little bit of love.
Now they just need to give it to us for servers. I don't want to have to use their matchmaking in their servers to run it. I want to be able to play with 64 people that I know.
Yeah, I did.
I don't know if they'll ever do that, though. I kind of figured when I saw that they were using matchmaking for operations, like, yeah, this isn't going to be a server option. I don't know if they ever will. I hope it'd be nice if they would, because I imagine a lot of people would play on your server.
If they don't, and I didn't mean to take it back to servers, but it's always going to be a server thing.
Yeah.
But the thing with operations is fix the way you join with 32 of your buddies.
Yeah.
That's the tough thing, because that's the hardest part for me. When I say I need a server for it, it's because I can actually fill a server with all my people right now and go play operations, 64 of them, and I can do 2 of those servers and I can fill them up. But I can't. It's encumbering to try to get 32 of your own buddies to get in the same server at the same time in the same squads to get in and play. Half the time you're playing against each other, and sometimes you just want to pub out, and just kind of. Yeah.
So I want to touch something on chat real quick. I know a lot of people are bringing up the AA guns, Sasquatch and Shaddux films. I get what you're saying with it, and while AA might be a little easy mode, I think the changes that you all are wanting might make it a little, not necessarily complex, but take away that casual feel that I think they're going for. I mean, I agree with the idea of having to set the distance to the AA. I think that'd be a neat touch, saying, hey, there's a plane out X distance, we got to set it to that. But I think that might be just asking a little too much from them at this point.
I do agree with Sasquatch. I agree. Yeah, no. The range should have been nerfed, not the damage.
Oh yeah, the range is freaking too much. I mean, you fly anywhere near. Well, it's almost like when you're flying towards someone's base in Battlefield 3 and you get close to that AA gun, which by the way, I think the starting point should have those. I don't know why they got rid of them in the first place, but no, in Battlefield 3, you flew too close with your jet or your helicopter to one of those mobile AA places, and if someone had it manned, you were going to get ate up right away. But it's like you've got those littered throughout the map now, and the range on them is just incredible, to the point that if your plane gets anywhere close to them, it's basically an insta-kill. And plus, they need to fix the elevation too, so that those same guns can't be used on infantry on the ground, because in my opinion, they wreck infantry as well. So
how am I going to get my kills from now on if they do that?
Yeah, I know. Me too. Me too. I get my kills. I think I had more kills with airburst than the secondary weapons than with main stuff. So I guess that makes me a sucky player. But
yeah, the one thing I'm happy that they did fix, and it kind of pertains to squads, is when you join a party and you go into a server where you're the guy you joined on is in a full squad, you can now at least join other squads. They did
fix feature.
They fixed it. The auto lock.
Yeah,
mutiny. We got mutiny feature.
And the thing about that, I know everyone was complaining about that, and everybody was just really being pretty nasty towards people that were locked in 2-man squads. But I don't think those people knew it, because it was automatically happening. So there was a lot of community fighting going on there over something that wasn't anyone's particular fault. It was the way the game was set up. So I'm glad they fixed that and got rid of that, because when you got like 10 2-man squads that are locked on a team and you can't join any of them, or in pigeons when you're trying to get in and you're a 1-man squad, you're just kind of screwed.
And along with that, Deity brought up the fact that now you can vote your squad leader out if he's not given objectives like you were able to do in Battlefield 4 and Hardline.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I thought that's what you were bringing up, and so I didn't mean to talk over you. But yeah, the mutiny feature is absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary.
Yeah. I had a guy I was playing a couple nights ago before the patch, and I was spamming chat telling this guy, please give us objectives. He would never freaking do it. I'm just like, dude, you're killing yourself for points. You don't realize you could double your score right now simply by pressing Q.
Especially because this game forces PTFO like no other game I've played. Your entire gaming experience is focused around PTFO, as opposed to, it really doesn't do me any good to go and camp a corner somewhere. I'm not really getting the enjoyment that I might have gotten in Battlefield 4 and racking up kills. There are still people that do it, and there are always going to be people that do it. But this game really pushes the PTFO. You want to be on the point. You want to be doing that. You're going to get the kills on the point. You're going to defend the point. And so why not take advantage of that? So you need a squad leader.
I agree.
Sure, that might even be an unlock.
We're coming short on time right now. There are a couple more things that they added. We've got hardcore gameplay now, right? And that's one of the big additions.
I think matter of fact, they brought hardcore servers online today, I believe.
Yeah, I know that.
Somewhere Danger Cow's smiling.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are absolutely happy about that.
I heard the gameplay, though. A lot of people aren't happy with how it's turned out.
No, I imagine not. I mean, the maps, it's hard enough as it is to spot people when you do have a heads-up display in this game, because there's so much to take in on the maps.
You can spot people?
Well, yeah, exactly. That's another issue that, we just brought up here. That the spotting is still abysmal in this game. That needs
horrible.
And spotting should be one of the most important features about the game. It's still botched right now. They need to fix that.
They really need to fix it in airplanes. The gunners in the airplanes should be able to spot people on the ground. Oh my God, it just frustrates crap out of me.
I would just like to not have to hit the Q or the bumper on PS4 to spot someone that is visible for the whole world to see, and I have to press it 10 times to get it to spot somebody.
Yeah.
Well, and then you change your objective.
Yeah, exactly.
You change your objective.
You change. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is something that needs to be fixed, big time. I would really like to see them knock that out in the next patch, because that's something that should have been taken care of this patch, in my opinion.
Or just give us an option to turn that off, so that because you gave us a Kama Rose that is beautiful. I absolutely love that tool as a squad leader. You can set an objective from just holding Q and pulling down and just selecting what you want. That is a great feature. I can't believe that was never in Battlefield 4. It's so great.
So we're coming up on the hour mark right now. So before we close out, I want to go back to AOD Deity, and again, thank you for coming on. We've enjoyed having you. Talking about servers a fair amount. Before we hang up here, I'd like you to just go ahead and kind of restate who you are, who you belong to the crowd out here, and have at it. This is your time to plug your Twitter, everything else, just all about you.
Yeah, no. Well, once again, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. I guarantee if you ever have me back, you now know that I'm just going to talk a lot, because I know that sometimes when people do podcasts and they bring on a guest and it's like, oh, this guy didn't say a damn word. Well,
we've tried to make our guests the focal point. That's why we've got you here. So.
Yeah, well, I definitely appreciate it, so thanks for inviting me. But yeah, Clan AOD, that's what I manage for the Battlefield side. I help with the entire clan. Angels of Death is about 17 years old, going on 17 years old now. It's about 3,000 members big across multiple games. It's all PC, no other platforms, although a lot of us play other platforms too. But my Battlefield folks are about 420-something people strong. We kind of run about that, so we're really heavy. So that's when I say, when we're a community, we're a true community in the fact that we all know each other, we game together, and we fill our own servers a lot of times too. So that's something that's fun to have. But yeah, the Shogun's dropping my Twitter there, so I appreciate that.
There we go.
_deity.
Thank you, Shogun.
Don't spell it wrong, because I won't talk to you anymore. It's only 5 letters, man. It's not hard. But once again, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. And
absolutely.
You guys.
What is AOD's website?
ClanAOD.net. I don't even know how I forgot that one. ClanAOD.net. And hopefully hopefully in the future we'll have a new iteration of that. So watch out for that.
I know it's a week late, but again, just having had Veterans Day pass by, being a veteran, I want to thank you for your service. At the same
Yes,
time, I want to go ahead and thank you, Pun, as well for your service. Bo, thank you for your service.
Thank you guys.
Every single one of us here is a veteran. You know, that time of year. So just want to get out there. Thank you very much. And you did the right thing after going into your veteranship and post-Army career by growing a awesome, massive beer. And
The thing they won't let you do.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
I suspect you eat bacon and drink whiskey as well. Typical veteran stuff. So, hey, guys, I just want to thank you all for coming out here, watching another podcast. Not going to be on next week. We've got Thanksgiving, so I hope you all have a wonderful time, spend it with your families. But
Definitely.
a week after that, we might have a pretty cool podcast for you all out there, trying to get things working for an Overwatch-based podcast that you are not going to want to miss if you love Overwatch. So stay tuned to DRMB for that on Twitter. We'll be tossing out links and keeping you updated on that. But again, thanks. Yep, go ahead.
And just to put it out there for you guys in chat, we have a group of guys who stream on this channel throughout the week. Their channels are listed below. Like, follow, subscribe, press F to pay respects, whatever it is that you need to do.
Yep.
But those guys would greatly appreciate any follows that they could get from you.
Exactly. Thank you for bringing it out, Bo. Guys, we're getting to the point here where on our DRMB Twitch channel, we're going to be trying to run streaming constantly. The ultimate in-state goal is, 7 days a week during high traffic times during the day, there will always be someone streaming. So, we've added another individual on. We've got Jimby on, another great streamer. So we're always looking for more. If you think you got what it takes or you want to be a part of our community, shoot one of us a note on Twitter. We'll come out, we'll watch, we'll see what you got. We've got a calendar going. So, we're trying to grow and get to that point where we become entertainment constantly. So I think we're getting pretty close to that. We've got some great guys. Of course, we'll always have the podcast too. So does anyone else have anything before we sign off for the night?
No, I'm thinking that's probably about it. I will
Stuff
be streaming
your pie holes next Thursday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You stuff your
Get
pie holes
fat,
next
enjoy
Thursday. We'll see you 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, enjoy the turkey, enjoy the football, and stay safe out there.
Exactly. All right. Well, once again, thank you, Deity. Thanks for coming out. Thank you all out there, and we will catch you all later.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.